First question I'm going to address is a really popular question that I get, and particularly from females. It certainly doesn't mean males are out of this picture and they don't apply, but it's more common from females. And the question is, I've been dieting and exercising for a given amount of time and I'm not seeing results, or I was and they stopped. So what am I doing wrong? What do I need to be doing differently? And I usually see two main problems in this. The first problem being the type of exercise that they're doing. The women in particular are really geared towards cardio and they forget about the weights. So while cardio is very important in any exercise program, it is certainly not an end-all be-all to your weight loss goals. It's really important to incorporate a variety of aspects of exercise, including strength training and flexibility training, along with that cardiovascular. And the type of cardiovascular exercise is important too. That fat burning cardio that we read all these articles about, which is just get on, stay at a steady heart rate the whole time and then get off, is only but so effective. There's a variety of kinds of training, such as intervals, high intensity interval training, different types of cardio, not always doing the same, being on the treadmill or the elliptical, but changing it up to the bike or swimming occasionally to kind of change up the demands that we're placing on our heart and our vascular system. So that's kind of the short answer to that. But you also need the weights. The weights are really important. Don't worry, you're not going to get big. As a matter of fact, I can almost guarantee you that unless you're lifting with the intent of getting big, you're not going to see that being a problem. There are occasionally a rare few females who have hormone levels that will allow them to add more mass than other females, but it's so very rare, and usually we keep our weights light enough that you don't see that being a problem. Most women who are aiming to get big are really trying. They're taking in certain amounts of protein, certain supplements, and working out in a way that really promotes muscle mass growth, not just muscle toning. And even the women who are big to other women aren't even that large, so it's usually easily correctable if you find that becoming a problem too fast. But weights in general are really, really important, as is flexibility training. So either just a fair amount of stretching at the end or yoga types of training in with your workout. The second problem that I see is, of course, with the diet, because that's one of the two different components, but not eating enough. And most of the diet is composed of carbs. We don't even realize oftentimes what our carbs are, but we don't get enough protein in our diet. The USDA standards tell us 50 to 60% carbs. Most people don't need that unless you're working out to an outrageous extent or your daily activities just demand so much energy coming in because you're putting out that much energy. You don't need to be eating 60% carbs. It's an energy in, energy out principle, and I'm not always an advocate of caloric intake versus caloric burn means weight loss. I think that hormones take a play into the weight loss factor, and there are lots of different things, but I do think that calories is important. It's not something you want to ignore. Eating 1,000 calories a day is not going to be enough, no matter who you are, no matter what your hormone levels. And if you're a female, chances are 3,000 to 4,000 calories is going to be too much too, unless again you're eating, your activity level is exceeding the average person. So, and this message is a general message for the average 8 to 5 job female who gets their workout. It's not really athlete. So getting enough protein is important. Balancing out the carbs is really important because those carbs act as energy in your system. When you give yourself energy, it has to be used, and if it's not used, it's stored, and usually it's stored in the form of fat. So when you're not losing weight, it's probably because you're taking in more energy than you're expelling, and generally in the form of carbs. Not that you can't overdo fat and protein, but in the form of carbs. So more on the macronutrient breakdown in another video, but that's the short answer to why am I not losing weight. It's probably a mix of incorrect exercise, not getting enough strength training, or incorrect diet, not eating enough and not eating enough of the right things. So know that doesn't give you a lot of detail, but it might set you off to, am I even on the right track? So if you have more specific questions, let me know. Email me.